An Unconventional Threesome is a comedy podcast hosted by three rude, crude, and tattooed dudes. We tell you this so you can shield your children's eyes and cover their ears. If you don't, we are not responsible for the fun and exciting new words that they start using. Enjoy!
Welcome to the show, yeah, it's a blast. Turn the volume up, we got to laugh. Every joke's a hit, you'll have a fit. Sit back, relax, let's start this bit. Tuned in live from the internet's heart, where every word is a work of art. Comedy gold, it never gets old. Jump aboard,
Welcome to an Unconventional Threesome, a conversation that once again is usually hosted by three dudes who have no business having a podcast. My name is John, and I am probably more than likely going to drive this crazy train off of a cliff.
Jay's here because he's being detained.
We are once again being joined by my lovely wife MK, as had some prior commitments, because apparently this podcast is not important to him to just shut his life down and entertain you all.
All I know is it got better looking in here with him not being around. Welcome, MK.
Hey, y'all.
Y'all, huh? We're getting a little
Y'all.
southern flair.
Hey, it's not Southern anymore.
If this is your first time joining us, this is a podcast where we just kind of sit around and bullshit with each other and talk about nothing in particular. Some of the topics can be conceived as controversial in the widest of senses, but most of them are pretty mundane. You guys ready for the first topic?
Heck yeah.
Yes, please.
All right, motherfuckers. Cake or pie? Go.
I'm going to get outvoted, but as much as pie is wonderful, there's just a place for cake. And if somebody handed me a slice of birthday pie, I'd punch him the fuck over his face. Gotta be cake. And you don't have a wedding pie, you have a wedding cake.
Have you not been to the weddings where they have the donut boards, where they just completely eliminated cakes and just put up pegboards full of donuts?
I'm sorry. Donuts are a cake.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. I'm a fan of pie, I will tell you. My A1C will tell you. My doctor will tell you. I dig pie too. But you can't get rid of cake. Sometimes you just feel like cake.
Wait, is this... We have to choose one and get rid of the other?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't cake and pie. That would have been a better decision. But cake was.
I didn't realize we had to get rid of the other option.
Put it in the trash.
I'm going with pie because I love berries and fruit, and as long as that's not canned beforehand or frozen beforehand, it's totally delicious. Can't live without it.
There is nothing wrong with frozen fruit, because in a pie you're reducing it down anyways. So you got to, put it in the saucepan and let it reduce, and then you throw in your 9 gallons of sugar.
I'm thinking of like that awful canned apple stuff that is more like jelly and less like fruit.
The cherries, yeah, those are delicious.
For me, I gotta tell you, first off, I joke about it, but one day I think we should all do it. If there's enough insulin standing by. I want to do the sheet cake challenge. So yeah, like just get a sheet cake and have at it.
And I choose the frosting, because if it's buttercream, I'm out.
And let me tell you a funny buttercream story. So, in a previous life, I had a job that had me doing deliveries around the city. And I had other people I worked with at the same time. And a lot of the places we went to, offices, etc., whether they had birthdays, whether it was like a customer appreciation day, they would have cake. And a friend of mine, close friend now, he was the new guy at the time. He had an aversion to frosting. And it was fucking hysterical because he was supposed to be learning and training with me. So every time we'd go into a place and they had that stuff, I'd grab it, throw it in the back of the rig with him and be like, you better eat that fucking cake before the next stop. No, I can't do it. And I found out later, he's like, no, seriously, my teeth are going to rot out of my fucking head. I never eat frosting because just the sugar, I can just imagine my teeth falling out of my head. And every time I have frosting now, I think about him. And he's probably going to listen to this, so I hope he gets a kick out of that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also am in favor of pie over cake.
Woohoo.
And the reason I say that is because not very often can you have a savory cake. Carrot cake teeters on the edge of savory, but even then it's still super sweet. You can have quiche, you can throw some bacon in pie, ham, eggs, vegetables, and then you could also have the other side of it where it's sweet. And your cherry pies, your apple pies, pumpkin pie, meh. Key lime pie, oh, I love key lime pie. So that is why I am on the side of pie, is just because of the diversity of it.
Not to go off the reservation, but we're gonna expand a little bit based on, kind of like the, is cereal actually soup? I'm gonna say, all right, so by extension, if I get a pie plate and I get like a s'mores Oreo crust and I put a piece of fucking cake in it, is that now pie? And the cake is just the pie filling? I think I found the way we can do and now, MK.
Well, like quiche is just a crusted casserole. Like that's all. Like it's not pie.
So I Googled this motherfucker because I
Oh
knew y'all
no.
were going to come after me with that shit. Yes, a quiche is considered a type of pie,
No.
specifically a savory pie.
It's
Eat
egg
my
pie.
shorts.
You're eating egg pie.
It's a pastry crust filled with an egg custard and often includes ingredients such as cheese, vegetables, meat, or seafood.
And by that logic, if you get a Pillsbury pie crust and you roll that out and you put John's shorts in it, you can eat shorts pie, is where we're at.
Well, and going back to your point, MK, about the grabbing a piece of cake and putting it into a pie tin and spreading that out, or was that Jay? It was somebody. Traditionally, pie has to be baked. So I understand the ingredient of now a cake pie being spread into a tin, but are you then going to bake it again? Or is just the mashing of two ingredients and creating
Okay.
a sandwich?
Does that mean it's not a pie until it's baked? See the wormhole we're going down here?
Yeah. So here's
Is
what you
it
do.
a pie before it's baked?
Is a fertilized egg a baby? We don't know.
Whoa, we're not going down that road. I tell you, I don't have a uterus, so I can't speak on it.
Oh, I disagree.
You get a pie shell and you put the raw cake batter in it and then you bake it. And now you have cake pie.
Yes, something is considered a pie before it's baked. This is a curveball I didn't see coming and had not planted myself for. A pie
Aha.
is defined by its pastry crust and filling, regardless of whether it's been baked or not. The filling can be fruit, custard, or even meat and vegetables, and it's typically placed within or topped with pastry. And that's also something I didn't touch on was meat pie. I'm a carnivore by nature. I love any way to get both carbs and meat into my pie hole. Pie hole, motherfuckers. That's just another way for me to consume both of those at once.
You don't call it a cake hole.
Oh, but you could.
There's no law against it. Actually, I think I have heard someone call it a cake hole before.
Well, they might be an a-hole. That was a bad joke.
Yeah, we're gonna glaze over that one. We'll frost over it for you. All right, so we got one cake and a couple of pies. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now I'm going down a rabbit hole in Reddit about pies, so I should probably close Google here pretty quick, because
Well, and nobody's going to jump out of a pie, so there's another advantage.
yeah, not many little people strippers coming out of pies, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is another wormhole we could go down. Let's save that for another episode.
Giving all the veterans down at the Legion a heart attack when she pops out, or he. All right, let's talk about Swedish death cleaning.
Oh, I love it.
For those who don't know what Swedish death cleaning is basically you take everything out of your house and live in a minimalistic style. I'm gonna go first on this one, and I'm just gonna come in with my thoughts, and then I'll tell some stories behind it. But I'm not totally against it, but at the same time, I can make a argument as to why I would like to have XYZ in my house and why I still need it and things like that. So it's very hard for me to get into the mindset to just purge everything. And I'm also the type of person that, going back to my Boy Scout days, I like to be prepared. So if I can make some sort of case as to why I need to keep something, it's usually because, well, maybe I will need that in the future. And then I've had it happen before where I throw something out and then 3, 4, 5 months later, it's like, oh shit, I need to order another one off of Amazon because I threw my other one out thinking I would never need it again.
On the season finale of Hoarding, Buried Alive, John
Yeah.
is still going down this particular storyline.
It's not that bad. Not yet anyways. I'm usually pretty good about keeping it manageable. But, going back to being prepared for everything, any vehicle of mine that you're going to step into, I'm going to have some level of tools in there. I'm going to have an air pump. I'm going to have a battery jump. And the reason for that is because I've been caught with flat tires before with like a nail or something like that, where I just need to pump it up every once in a while instead of trying to find a gas station on a rural road somewhere. I just have my own compressor in the back of the car. And it's the same with battery jumps. If I'm, getting out of work late at night and no one's around, instead of calling AAA, waiting 6 hours for them to come jump me, I just have my jump pack right there ready to go. So, I always have these types of essentials in my car specifically because I like to prepare for situations. And I think that kind of extends into the home as well, where I like to be prepared for whatever situation might come up. And a story from this last week with me and my jump pack in the car. MK and we had just gotten out of a doctor's appointment for chiropractic visit, and we were going to dinner. And I'm rolling down the road, and I just happen to see 2 vehicles in a parking lot with their hoods up, and a woman standing out in front of the vehicles looking at her jumper cables like she just staring at them. I'm like, oh God. So I pull into the gas station a few hundred feet down the road, and I turn around, and MK is like, what are you doing? I'm like, in the most dejected voice possible, helping. So I turn around and I pull into the parking lot. I roll down my window. You need a hand? So she's standing in front of her Mini Cooper. The reason why she was staring at the jumper cables is because her Mini Cooper has one positive terminal with a post and no negative terminal because it's buried under 50 layers of plastic. And so what they do is they just raise these terminals up to the top. And so there was a negative terminal. She just didn't see it because it wasn't marked as a negative terminal. And at that point, I educated her that, with the negative terminal, it doesn't actually need to be connected to the battery. You just need to be connected to any piece of metal on the car. I did my best to not mansplain it, but educate. So anyways, I get my jump pack all hooked up to her Mini Cooper, and then she's like, oh, it's that vehicle over there that needs to be jumped. I'm like, son of a bitch, you couldn't have fucking said that from the beginning. So I go over and then proceed to throw the jumper cables on that car. And then I ask her, all right, go ahead, give it a jump, try and start it. And then she spends the next 5 minutes looking for keys. And I asked her 3 times, are they in the ignition? Are they in the ignition? She's digging through her Mini Cooper. Can't find them, can't find them, can't find them. All the while having a conversation with me and asking me what I need and if I want water and if I want this and da-da-da-da-da. And trying to guess what I do for a living, including car salesman and auto mechanic, which, nope. Swing and a miss. Finally, she checks the vehicle that I was jumping, and lo and behold, the keys were hanging in the ignition. And so fires right up, and then she's asking me, well, what can I give you? What can I give you? You did this for me. Nothing.
Give me your license so you never drive again, because between the Mini Cooper and not being able to find your keys, I'm sorry, lady, that's strike 2.
Just let me leave. That's all I want. I just want to leave. Oh, do you want a reusable grocery bag? No, I don't want a reusable fucking grocery bag. Just let me leave. Finally, she, let me leave, and I did my good deed, but it goes to the statement of no good deed goes unpunished, I guess.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Good on you for stopping, though. A lot of people wouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll give you my take on the Swedish death cleaning. I don't anticipate the extreme need, but the principle of it is what I enjoy, which is you're getting on in years, and the inevitability is the people who love you are going to have to deal with your bullshit when you're gone. And every time they touch something, they get to feel that emotion a few times. It's why the fuck did he keep this? I feel guilty throwing it out. Damn it for making me go through all this shit. And that's just entirely too much. So I would prefer to see, and I tell my own parents, I don't expect you to go down to a spork and a washcloth. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But let's make sure it's manageable and meaningful. Because my father's another one with tools in the car, tools in the garage. You know, I finally got him to throw away the extra phone cords that he's been carrying around since 1971. He hasn't had a landline in 24 years. And I think it was last summer. I was like, "Is there a reason you still have those?" And he was looking at a takeout wonton soup container of automotive light bulbs at the same time. I was like, "That?" He looks at me and goes, "I haven't had any of the fucking cars that these bulbs would have fit since like the 1987 Ford Taurus we had." It's like, so this is a time that it doesn't spark joy, and you throw that sumbitch in the garbage.
100%.
Well, I have, probably 20 HDMI cords in my electronics bin. Do I need that many? Probably not. But what if one goes bad, and then I throw that one out, and then I, next one in line type of situation? That's the
Yeah.
rationale in my head.
The problem is you're gonna buy one off of Amazon before you remember you have one in the bin.
When it comes to cords, I always check the electronic bin first because I have more shit in there than I care to admit. There are more fucking cords and USB-C cords and phone cords and good lord.
So out of the three of us, you would think that I would actually know what Swedish death cleaning is, but I did not know of it until today. I really like the idea of, like, if you're going to pass on something to somebody, if you're going to pass on jewelry or whatever, give it to them while you're still alive. Give it to the people who you want to give it to and like, that way, if they really don't want it, well, give it to somebody who actually might want it. I like this idea of, like, getting rid of the sentimental things while you're still living. I don't think we're talking, like, John, you're talking to, like, things about, like, tools and essentials and stuff. Like, obviously, yeah, keep that. But also, we're not talking about doing this in your 40s and 50s. We're talking about doing this in your probably 70s and 80s, where you might not be getting down and, like, doing the plumbing on your house anymore. You're going to call somebody to do that. So you don't need as many tools or as many things as you might have needed.
Start the process at 60. Like, slow down on what you're taking in. And then
Yeah.
if you look and say, I don't know that I need 7 crock pots anymore.
Right.
Okay. Start making moves. And actually, MK, that was a really good point you made, because from a psychological, emotional bullshit side, which is the part most people have a lot of trouble with, if you get that bracelet from your mother that you've admired for 30 years, 15 years before she passes, then it's yours and you don't have guilt, and it's not like I have to only think of her every time I stare at this. It kind of transitions.
Or it prevents the fight
Yes.
of after somebody dies. Well, that isn't in the will, who gets it type of situation. Or grandma didn't tell me that I was going to get this, and now it's a huge battle, because unfortunately in death, it seems it always just turns into a battle for the actual tangible items, and it's sickening.
Yeah, and that's another great part about the whole death cleaning. If you no longer have 9 orbital sanders because you haven't used them ever, so you got rid of all of them already, then there's nothing for your 2 survivors to fight over.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be like
So,
me, not have survivors, and don't fucking worry about it. But hey, that's fine too.
we're in the same boat. I got nieces and nephews that are gonna have to call this shit out. But I was gonna bring this up earlier, and then I forgot about it, and then I remembered it. So, like, I've had this thought before because all of my animals that I've had cremated, and their ashes are still with me. And I had the thought of, I'll be the first to admit I don't deal with death well. It's one of those situations I just suppress it and hope it goes away eventually. By the way, it doesn't. Get help.
Yeah. Much like cancer, but okay, let's continue.
Yeah. So, this is my way of hanging on to them, even though it's not them anymore. And it was, one of those situations. I'm on my way into work or whatever, and just having my reflection on lifetime. And I'm like, what does this do for me other than, it gives me the opportunity to display pictures in their urns. It really, it's not, they're gone. But at the same time, I have a really hard time wrapping my mind around this animal that gave their entire lives to me, and then I just dump them in a landfill.
Right.
I know it's not them. It's it's that weird mental line that I have to walk. But anyways, going back to the Swedish Death Cleaning, I know good and goddamn well that's just going to end up in the fucking landfill anyways eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I have a problem. So I've known, I've had some family and friends that have done the cremation thing. And I think for myself, because like my parents want to be. And it's like, okay, well, what do we do with the ashes? Well, we spread them. Well, what if you want to keep an urn? One day I'm going to die, and I have a real hard time spiritually with let me throw my father away while I'm getting sick rather than doing it. Like, for example, anyone who's got veterans that have
Yep.
passed, you get that folded flag, you put it in a display case. Eventually, you're either going to give it to somebody who never even met that person and they're going to have to dispose of it or deal with it, or you're going to have to do it in a responsible, respectful way, go to a VA or wherever where they handle those things.
DFW,
Yeah, for me,
Legion.
it's the same with, remains of any kind. It's like, all right, well, if we're not going to do a burial, yeah, I think I need 100% of the remains spread. That way I can have that spiritual closure, lack of a better term, and not have
Right.
to worry about, oh, great, I had dad's ashes turned into a keychain. And some fuck's going to throw that out when they, haul my desk away when I die at
Right.
82.
Plant a tree.
Yeah, I don't hate the tree pod idea, except the fact that I still cannot wrap my head around letting the little grubs and bugs eat me while I'm dead. So fucking just cremate me. Like,
With that, if we turn you into a tree pod, I will fertilize you myself.
No, I'm not, I'm thinking of like the ashes of the cats. Like use them add some fertilizer and plant a tree.
yeah. So funny story surrounding cremation. So a woman had just started at work, and her father unfortunately passed away. And so it was like a week or two after, actually, it might have been, a month or so after he had passed away. And so we're all sitting at our round table team meeting, and she had a day off coming up. They were going to scatter his ashes in Booth Bay Harbor. But the way she worded it is, we're going to dump my dad off the back of a boat in Booth Bay Harbor. And me not having a filter and being the smartass that I am, this woman who I had just met a couple of months before, I speak up and I say, I hope your dad was cremated. And my supervisor went 15 different shades of red as she screamed at me, John! And fortunately, she had a really dark sense of humor and was perfectly fine with it. But after I came to the realization of that, of what I said, and my inside thought became an outside thought, went over to her cube right after the meeting and got so apologetic and texted her for days just apologizing.
And she probably laughed and said, I needed that shit.
It's exactly what she said. She was like, I was about to break down and start crying in the middle of that meeting, and that was the comedic relief I needed. I'm like, oh, thank fucking Christ, because that was so out of left field.
So you probably don't want to hear what I want to do with my body when I pass away, because I don't want to be cremated. I don't even want to be made into a tree.
Let's hear it. As a one up it. Let's hear it. You get points for originality.
Yes, my preference, and you can't do this, it's illegal, would be to, as soon as I'm freshly dead, just like leave me on a rock for like a mountain lion or some kind of a goat to eat. But in lieu of that, there is a mushroom net where I can become fungi and I can become the like under the ground communications network for all the plants. So I think I'll settle for that.
Or what we can do is find a taxidermist and just
Oh no.
have you decorate.
Oh no.
I also want the authorities to hear what she just said, because this bitch is trying to get me to catch a fucking felony after she dies and wants me to drag her ass out into the woods. That's a fucking crime.
I think I'll probably be the second one to die unless something weird happens. Like, we don't have to worry about that.
I can see a mummified version of you just holding a tray table by the door.
You'd have to like put me on my knees and be like, here.
That's way better than a mushroom net.
Like at the cigar stores, the Native Americans that they have in there, the statues.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what you do. So, little travel tip for you. In Banff, Canada, they're big on feeding the wildlife in a ecologically sound way. So, while they rarely have roadkill because of the way they manage their highways, if they have any, they take the carcass into a damn freezer and they wait until winter/spring. And they use a damn helicopter to put it out in their area where they've got, all kinds of grizzlies, black bears, etc. And that way, when they're waking up from hibernation or their winter dormancy, it's like, oh, look, here we go. So basically, you want to die in a picturesque Canadian town and just chill in their freezer.
Yep. Or preferably, I'll just die as soon as the bears are waking up. Love it.
And that way, there can be international extradition for John.
All right, I think this is a good time for our ad break. We'll go ahead and get that in, and we will be right back.
Funny stories late at night. Every episode is a treat. Get ready for something sweet.
My name is Corporal Clemson T. Klitlicker, a 10-tour veteran in the United States Space Force. I'm here to talk to you about Henry's Hot Hand Grenades, the outdoor game for everyone. My uncle, Private Henry Hamwallet, showed us this game when we were kids, and I have now decided to show it to the world and beyond. It's a real easy game to play. What you do is you pull the pin out of the hand grenade, toss it from person to person, and the one holding the hand grenade when it goes off is the loser. Just keep on playing till there's only one person left or the police show up, whichever comes first. So head on over to your local Toys R Us or Armory and pick yourself up your own set of Henry's Hot Hand Grenades. This ad is not sponsored by any sort of real company, and the advice given in the ad is not real and some total made-up bullshit. Please don't play with live hand grenades, as they can and will kill you. Thank you, Corporal Klitlicker. Be sure to jump on down to your local toy store or armory and pick up a set of Henry's Hot Hand Grenades. Fun for the whole family. Next topic of discussion, and potentially controversial. I don't know where anybody, well, I know where one person lies on this, but we're going to talk about tipping. And nothing specific about tipping. I'll just kind of leave this as open-ended. MK, you want to start?
Sure. Every Saturday we get 2 paninis from our local panini shop, and I think I tip them $12, which is about the cost of one of the sandwiches, so I'm paying for 3 sandwiches and getting 2. I always overtip.
I will deliver for that amount.
They must hate it when I go in there to pick up because they get the standard 20%. And I think we've talked about this before when it comes to fast food. If I have to stand to order, 20% is like the top.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. take 20% off of that if I have to stand to order, and that's about my baseline.
So if you have to stand to order, but they bring the food out to you, still the same case?
No, see, here's the thing. I enjoy tipping, like over tipping when it's great
Mhm.
service, when I'm out there doing whatever, and it makes sense. I believe tipping has gotten out of fucking control. Well,
Absolutely.
I had a guy turn around the tablet, and the percent started at 25. Yeah, I was like, "Wow, I'm missing something here." But if I'm doing it from a drive-through, I'm not tipping. If I've got to
No.
stand up and order it and take it away, I'm not tipping. Um, it's rare I ever go to Commie Burger, aka Panera Bread. I wouldn't tip there either. You're making me bust my own table. Fuck you sideways. Not happening.
So I am generally much like my wife, if I'm in a sit down restaurant, a over generous tipper, especially if it's good service. And it's very rare that I run into service I don't even qualify as good. There are those rare situations where I'll drop it down to 10-15%, but you got to absolutely suck to get that far.
Yeah,
Um,
20 is where I start at a nice sit down place. Yeah.
exactly. Usually I try and, for phenomenal service, it can see 35%. Maybe, I haven't dabbled to 40 yet, but 30-35 for phenomenal service. But going to your story about them flipping the tablet around. So I'm in the Philadelphia airport and I had like an hour layover. So I was going to go get something to eat and a drink. So I walk to a cooler, I grab a juice and a pre-made sandwich. I go to the counter. She scans it in. I hand her my debit card. She points to the tablet. And so, yeah, I put my debit card in and go through the whole rigmarole. And then it pops up for a tip.
No tip.
Motherfucker, you have done absolutely nothing in this transaction other than scan me out. I doubt you even made these fucking sandwiches.
You had to scan yourself out.
It's the same as going into like a convenience store and expecting a tip for buying 2 packs of Marlboro or giving somebody 2 packs of Marlboros. And so, anyways, I hit 0 on that tip button. And the daggers I got from her stare, she looked like she wanted to fucking kill me over the fact that she did absolutely nothing in this transaction outside of scan 2 items for me. What part of that deserves a motherfucking tip?
I guarantee you were not petty enough. You said you had an hour.
I did.
Let's go to, we're going to call it Practicing Pettiness with Jay. There's going to be a free tutorial for everybody. That transaction took you 2 minutes. I would have done 28 more of them. I would have left with $400 worth of juice just so 28 times I could not tip.
There was only so much I could expense on the card for work.
But yeah, drive-throughs, no tip. Not that I've used one in a while, but that's not a situation where I would normally tip.
Yeah, some places, the standing up rule, it works for a lot of places. There are other places where a lot of them, like seafood shacks and like beach type stuff, where it's just people are standing or there's only a couple of picnic tables. You're kind of not serving yourself, rather, but
Right.
you're more involved. Sometimes you wind up tipping there because it makes more sense. It's just, I hate to use the word the vibe, but the vibe. Um, so it's not really a hard and fast rule. But when I do tip, I tip as if I have entirely too much money, and when I don't, it's because it's unnecessary.
Love that.
Well, I remember one night MK and I were out at a, relatively expensive restaurant for the area. And it was our, I don't know, something anniversary for our how long we'd been dating. And so we were doing a tasting menu, which is super fucking expensive anyways. And so she was paying for this meal because I'm a cheap prick and kind of the terrible person because I make the woman pay. Yeah, I'm
Not true.
empowering woman. I'm empowering woman. That's all I'm doing. So she gets up to go use the facilities and the check comes and I give them her card, and it comes back asking for a tip. And I'm like, I ain't touching this with a 10-foot fucking pole because I have no idea what the fuck she's going to want to tip. So anyway, she comes back and I'm looking down as she's writing and she's tipping like 50% on this check that is a god awful amount. And I'm like, honey, do you really want to do that amount? Like we saw him like 10 times because it's a tasting menu, but on expensive meals, and because then that comes a whole other aspect. Just because a restaurant's expensive, does the cost of the meal change the amount of work that they did?
No.
That's a good point. It doesn't, but there's a certain level of
Quality.
yeah. So like if the service is on par with the pricing, if it's your fine dining service as well, maybe. Um, I'll tell you that I've noticed it more traveling. I've been to a place that rhymes with Gargamel, and
Taco Bell?
we took some tequila tours, and we went to some different places, and even the municipal employees in the area were like asking and expecting tips. And it's like, no begging, just stop. Like, if I tip every fucking person on this island, I'm not going to be able to afford to leave. This is ridiculous. So, yeah, tipping culture has gotten completely freaking out of control.
Going back to my prior point, if I'm ordering two like $150 filet mignons, I've seen the waiter 4 times. Does that constitute a $60 tip? Whereas if I go to Longhorn and I get a $30 steak, two $30 steaks for $60, see them 4 times, I don't know. The math doesn't math to me.
Right. So here's the thing. You could go to the same place and get like lobster and filet mignon, or you could go to that place and get like chicken. They are making a different tip based on the meal that you chose, not necessarily on the work that you did.
Correct. And I think that's asinine. If I want to order chips and dip as an appetizer and that's my meal, that's $12. So they done made, I'm not quick at math here, but $3 on my meal. But if I ordered the chicken, they've made the same amount of visits to the table, they've done the same amount of work, that's suddenly $50. Now they've got a $10 tip for literally the same amount of work, all based on the cost of the meal. Right. Which makes 0 sense to me. Maybe we just do it as, a $5 every time you visit the table. That's the new tipping of America. $5 every time you visit the table.
Kind of like that idea.
Then your waiters and waitresses are going to be coming to the table so often, you're not going to be able to eat.
Good. I won't have to worry about my water glass not getting fucking refilled. Give me a goddamn pitcher from the start.
Yeah, that's true.
Any other hot takes on tipping before we wrap this shit up?
I think what I'd like to say in my favor, in a point in my direction, is that like if it's a local like place they started from scratch, I don't mind giving them a little extra money, like our panini place.
Absolutely, support local. I'm all down for that.
Like, the franchise things, I know they have like a local owner and all that, but it's different than starting up from scratch, trying to build your own, restaurant or whatever.
Paninis and money laundering. They can put that on their sign.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed yourselves as much as we have. Hoping D-Money is able to join us next time and kind of get the flow of everything. Not that I don't enjoy having my wife on this podcast. Thank you again for jumping in and joining us, MK.
Happy to, as always.
If you have something that you want us to discuss, you can shoot us an email or send us a text. And then also, if you're enjoying this podcast, we ask that you please tell your friends, family, babysitter, Pope. Well, we can't tell the Pope right now. Pastor, anybody about this, just so we can start getting a wider audience on this. You guys ready for the Craigslist catastrophe?
Let's hear it.
This might be my favorite part.
This week's Craigslist catastrophe. Lady in St. George. Looking for the lady I met by Old Navy a few years ago. We went back to your trailer. Still around? This is John.
Jay's here too. Fuck the government on behalf of B-Money whenever he gets released.
And MK.
Hasta luego, bitches!
Vaya con huevos.